Shocker, we made a bunch of mistakes when we started to downsize from our home into an RV.
We're going to share with you our mistakes and also shared with you some of the process that we did to downsize our possessions.
Welcome back to the RV Odd Couple. My name is John.
And I'm Mercedes. Long story short, we sold most of our possessions in pursuit of freedom, independence, and adventure because life's too damn short.
Too damn short, man. So in this video, we're going to share with you what we went through when we made the decision to start downsizing from the house into the RV. And some people get a little bit emotionally attached to some or a lot of their items. We're going to share with you the process that we went through, the mistakes that we made, and we made some pretty big ones. We lost a couple of $1,000s probably while we were downsizing. And more importantly, what we learned from that process that hopefully will help you guys if you're in that process.
From the time that we purchased the RV to the date that we set to hit the road
was 4 months.
Yeah, and so in 4 months, we put all of our possessions into one of 4 categories. Mm-hmm. The first was what we thought would fit
in the RV. This RV will hold 2,500 pounds of cargo.
The next category was that which we wanted to sell. The next category was things that we were going to donate, and these were things that trying to sell them would be too much work, or you know, like clothes that don't fit. And then the final pile was that which we wanted to keep.
Right.
And what's tricky about this situation is
whatever you don't sell is going to go into storage, and storage costs money. We ended up purchasing a $100 a month 10 by 10 storage unit. Now, we were able to use one of the rooms in our house, which was about 10 by 10, to kind of get a really good idea of what we could keep to not have to go into a bigger storage unit.
So the first mistake we made was going too fast.
And some of you would think that 4 months is plenty of time. That's not too fast. But when you're trying to downsize and let go of things that you think or you think you're going to need, to carry along with you, it's a tricky thing for some people.
And another reason why you need to give yourself time is that selling items takes time.
It does.
There's an inverse relationship to the price that you put and how much time you have.
Exactly.
So definitely consider that some of those high ticket items will take a while to find the right buyer. And we tried our best to sell things in the best order possible, but truth be told, there were a couple nights that we were sleeping on the couch because we had sold
our bedroom set.
Yeah, so there's no way to do it perfectly. You just try to do it the best that you can.
Right. So we made a decision that we were going to list most of the things that we were going to sell from the list that we had made on Facebook or Craigslist. Now, when you do that, there's a couple of problems with it. Number one, those people are kind of flaky. You'll get 100 calls and maybe 20 people will show up. So that was one of the issues that we had. The other thing that made that challenging is that we could not keep our RV next to our house. The best way to do this is when you purchase your RV, you have an RV, have it next to your house. That way you can move the things that you absolutely need to have on the RV, walk out and put them in. If they don't fit, you can walk them back into the house. We kept our RV 20 minutes away. So it was a big deal. So when somebody from Craigslist or Facebook said, yeah, we had to make arrangements to meet them at the house, unlock the house, go in and, and sell them the product. The problem is that half these people wouldn't even show up.
The other piece about that's funny is that, you think, or I thought that I could bring certain things with me, and we'd load up the truck, bring it to the RV, we'd unpack everything, and I'd realize, nope, this doesn't fit. So then about a third to 2/3 of what I had brought
would go right back to the house. We'd load the truck up with all the stuff that she thought we needed to get on the RV. We drive 20 minutes, and then a third or a half of that would go back to the house. Yeah. So this was a process that we were doing for 4 months, And
God bless
But
him.
the truth is, it helped her to
Yes.
kind of, it helped Mercedes to really think about what she had to have and what we would need to store.
Yes, because you can have all these ideas. I mean, I even measured out all of the storage compartments. But even still, you just have to put things in their place and really kind of let them simmer.
And if you go to our tour video, you'll see the schematic that Mercedes drew up so she knew exactly every space she had measured out in this RV to store things.
I could basically be an architect.
I'll drop a link right above.
The second mistake we made was being too attached to things.
Yeah, too attached to things. So the next thing that's a little bit tricky for some people is letting go of items that you think you have to have. And if you're not going to sell them, you're going to pay to store them.
And I am guilty of this. So I have mistaken beliefs on attachment. If somebody I deeply care about gives me an item, I don't want to get rid of it.
Of course not.
Because I love them.
Of course.
And if I get rid of that item, it means I don't love them. But then
I don't know about that.
If you follow that logic through, that means I have to keep everything anyone I love has ever given me, and I have to walk around my whole life with all this stuff. So,
and no one really loves me, so I didn't have much that people had given me.
That's not true. But the point is that, we get these emotional attachments and we put this value on something. The people that love you don't want you to be burdened by their gift. If they really love you, they'll be okay with you letting it go. And if you're not using it, how is that honoring that person in the first place? I mean, giving it away, then somebody could really use it.
As far as attachment goes to me, I had a lifelong affection with my tools being a remodeler. And what I needed to do was go through and try to, the best I could, think about what I would need if something went wrong on the RV and the things that I would need to service the RV as we went. And so I did that. I am guilty of bringing probably an extra 250 pounds of tools that we really didn't need, but we're getting ready to let go of those right now.
The third mistake that we made was overestimating what we could make on an item. Because guess what? They don't care how much you spent on it.
What you paid for it doesn't matter to most people. It's what you can get for it. And so doing research on eBay or Craigslist, type the item in that you want trying to sell, and you should get a good idea of what the value is that you can get for it. We put that item up thinking it was a competitive price, and then every couple weeks checking on the item and then lowering the cost of that item as you went. And it was really strange because some items just sat there for a month without getting anything at all. And then you'd lower the price 10 or 20 bucks, and then you get 15 phone calls, of which 2-3 people will show up and meet you to purchase the item.
And remember, if somebody is lowballing you on an item, just consider the cost of storing it.
Exactly.
That alone might motivate you to sell it.
Obviously, the more time you have, the slower you can lower the price. But we did sell 90% of what we were trying to sell between Craigslist and Facebook.
The next mistake that we made, which was really hard, was that we were too trusting.
Mm-hmm. We were very, very trusting. After selling the items on Craigslist and Facebook, the things we couldn't sell, Mercedes and I decided to have an estate sale. And so we advertised that estate sale for a certain day, and we advertised it starting at 9 o'clock. I went out to do something around 8. Mercedes calls me in a panic that there's 50 people on the property trying and waiting to get in. So I rushed back to the house. I opened the garage, opened up all the doors, let the people start walking through. I was in the garage. Mercedes was in the house with the baby, trying to show people different things and taking money for stuff. And somebody ended up stealing $1,200 in a bag that Mercedes had hid in the house.
Yeah, it was devastating. I was crying. And, the mistake here is not asking for help. We should have had friends help us.
Yep.
Because having different rooms where people were walking through and they're bringing your attention here and there, you should call the reinforcements and don't try to go it alone. That was devastating. But one thing that he did that was really nice is that after it happened, I'm crying. He could have totally said, and I told you so, or how could you, or he never once rubbed my face in it. And I was really grateful for that. I already felt pretty bad. He didn't need to make me feel any worse.
No, it was a mistake, but it was time to move on and get past it. We weren't getting the money back, and I love her, and we had to go. We had about a week left to go. And always remember, guys, you can hire a company to do an estate sale for you, which it might have not been a bad idea, and it's something you should consider if you need to move quickly.
The next area where we were too trusting with people is that we should have secured funds for certain items before they loaded them onto the truck.
Yeah, we had bought this beautiful leather sectional a year earlier. We put it up for sale on Craigslist. Somebody came and they loved the couch. I didn't take the money. The guy seemed like a really nice guy. He said, "Can I load it in my truck?" I said, "Go ahead." I should have taken the money first. And the reason why is his guys came in, they picked up the sectional, they walked it out, and they damaged it loading it on their trailer. Guy walks in, he says, "Hey, this has got a big rip down the back." It did not have a rip when it left, but ultimately I looked at the guy and I said, "Can you guys get it back in the house?" They brought it back in the house, and I told the guy to get the hell off my property. So before they remove the item from your home, get the money up front. They damaged it out the door, it's theirs, they own it.
The fifth mistake that we made was having these expectations that it would be easy. You know, I really saw this downsizing as an event, and I thought that on the day that we took off on our full-time journey, like I thought that by that day we'd have everything organized, and we still don't have everything organized, and we've been doing this 5 months, and we're ready to downsize.
Yeah, we're getting ready to tear this thing apart and get rid of more things that we haven't used yet.
And consider this. Our whole lives, we've been programmed that we need a house and we need at least one of everything in the house, hopefully two, just in case one breaks. And so when you go into this RVing lifestyle, you are shattering that concept. You are really breaking it down to what you need. And that is a difficult process. So be easy on yourself. A lot of people have said in their comments, you know, the Odd Squad that have joined and subscribed, they talk about how I'm freaking out and I haven't even left yet. We did too, so don't worry.
Yeah. So when you make the decision to full-time RV and you're going to downsize into an RV, that whole process is really emotional and it's stressful. It's like this. Some days you'll be really excited for the life you're about to embark on and the journey. Other days you'll be questioning, what am I doing? And here's what's really interesting, right? It took us 4 months to go through this process. And we've got a 10 by 10 storage unit sitting in Venice, Florida. And most of the stuff that we have stored in there, we realize we don't need, or some of it should be on here. We also realize that a lot of the items that we thought we had to have on the RV, like tools, we do not need them on this RV. So just keep that in mind. There's no perfect way to do this. You do the very best you can. Hey, we just wanted to do a great big shout out to those of you in the RV Odd Squad who have purchased the new shirts or, you know, purchased the Shark's Tooth. Sage and I build these right at our own kitchen table, and we appreciate the support. We're grateful for it.
So we invite you to join the Odd Squad by subscribing. We look at your comments, we read them, we actually think about our responses back to you.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and you guys are directing the ship. I mean, you guys are telling us what kinds of topics you want. That's why we're doing this video.
That's why we did this video this week. We've had a lot of people send us requests. Hey, can you talk about this? One of the reasons we did our last video on myths was because we don't want to be telling everybody this life is for everybody. It's not.
It's not.
Responsible expectations of what the process is going to look like.
And if you are an RV veteran, that's what we call the people that actually know what they're doing. We would appreciate your downsizing tips because we have a bunch of newbies reading these comments, and your tips are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah. Looking back in the life now and what we've done, there's a few resources that we definitely would have used. We wish we had those resources then. We just didn't know they existed. One is rvtravel.com.
Yeah.
And the other one is the RV Wingman, Alan Warren.
We'll link to that.
We'll link to that in the bottom. You know, we've got more friends now than we've ever had in our lives since we started this channel.
Yeah.